Hey everyone, a very good day to all of you and welcome back to my channel. Today I have come with a new topic, that is the biography of the famous Indian writer Mamta Kalia. Mamta Kalia, born in 1940. Mamta Kalia is one of India's most prominent contemporary writers, poets and a fictionist, known for her bold, realistic and satirical portrayals of Indian middle-class life and women's experiences. Writing with a remarkable clarity and wit, she has carved a distinct space in both Hindi and English literature for her candid exploration of gender, social hypocrisy, and urban Indian sensibilities. Early life and education. Mamta Kalia was born in 1940 in Vrindavan, Uttar Pradesh, into a literary family. Her father, Professor Triloknath Srivastava, was a noted writer and scholar, which gave her early exposure to literature and intellectual discussion. She completed her master's degree in English literature from Delhi University, where she began writing both poetry and prose in English before later turning primarily into Hindi. Career and literary journey. Mamta Kalia began her literary career in the 1960s, initially as an English language poet associated with the modernist and post-colonial literary movements in India. Her first collection, titled Tribute to Papa and Other Poems, published in 1970, displayed her early concern with the domestic realities, father-daughter relationships, and the female voice in a patriarchal settings. Later, she became a major figure in Hindi literature, writing novels, short stories, and essays that captured the complexities of contemporary Indian life, especially the struggles of middle-class women negotiating between tradition and modernity. Her writing is often described as realistic, humorous, and unapologetically feminist, blending social criticism with emotional authenticity. She has also served as an educator and academic, having been the principal of Mahila Mahavidyalaya, Allahabad, where she mentored generations of students and writers. Her major works include novels like Beggar, that means homeless, Ek aur Rita, Dukam Sukam, Suno Kashir Kahe, Nirmoh, and Jane Ke Bahne. Each portraying women who confront social norms and domestic confinement with a quiet resistance. Her poetry collections include Tribute to Papa and Other Poems in English, Koye Hu Prashnon Ke Uttara, that is in Hindi, and her short story collections like Dauda Dauda Bhagta Baga Sa Aya and Kali Godi Dwar Khadi are known for their sharp wit and a depiction of everyday middle-class absurdities. Her autobiographical work is Kya Tum Yahan Naye Ho, that means, Are You New Here?, reveals her sharp observational humor and personal insights. Now let's be familiar with some of her poems. First of all, Tribute to Papa. This poem from her collection titled Tribute to Papa and Other Poems 1970, reflects on the complex emotional bond between father and daughter. It expresses both affection and rebellion, portraying the father as a figure of authority and the daughter as a voice of emerging independence within patriarchal constraints. Her next work, next poem, After 8 Years of Marriage. In this candid poem, Kalia captures the disillusionment and monotony that is set in after years of domestic life. She explores how romantic ideals fade into routines, exposing the quiet frustrations and humor of middle-class Indian womanhood. Her next poem, Compulsions. This poem examines the pressures faced by women who must conform to societal norms while suppressing their individuality. Through simple yet sharp language, Kalia portrays how emotional compromises become an accepted part of survival in marriage and society. The next poem, To My Daughter. Addressed to her daughter, this poem conveys a mother's deep concern for her child's future in a world that still limits women's choices. It is both protective and empowering, a reminder that resilience and self-awareness are the strongest forms of inheritance. Next poem, When the House Became Small. This poem metaphorically represents the shrinking emotional space in a woman's life as domestic responsibilities and societal expectations grow heavier. The small house symbolizes confinement, like a physical, mental, and emotional confinements within the framework of family and tradition. The next poem, titled Kuch Log, that means some people. Written in Hindi, this poem is a sharp social satire on hypocrisy and a pretension in the educated middle class. Kalia mocks people who preach morality but act selfishly, using humor and irony to expose everyday contradictions of Indian society. Now let's talk about the themes and styles of her work. Mamta Kalia's literary voice stands out for its irony, simplicity, and directness. She writes about women's domestic lives, economic pressures, and emotional aspirations, often from a working woman's perspective. Her narratives break away from idealized portrayals of women. Instead, they depict the ordinary Indian woman as intelligent, witty, and assertive, struggling to balance career, family, and selfhood. Through humor and realism, Kalia critiques male ego, bureaucratic culture, hypocrisy in relationships, and societal pretensions. Her writing style, that is very plain, colloquial, and conversational, makes her work accessible yet deeply thought-provoking. Awards and recognition. Mamta Kalia has received several honors, including the Vyas Samman in 2017 for her novel Dukham Sukham, one of the highest literary awards in India for Hindi literature. The Sahitya Bhushan Samman, Mahadevi Verma Puraskar, and other regional literary honors. Her works have been translated into many Indian languages and English, increasing her reach across the subcontinent. Personal life. Mamta Kalia was married to Ravindra Kalia, a renowned Hindi writer and editor with whom she shared a lifelong literary companionship. Their partnership was marked by mutual respect and intellectual exchange, making them one of the most influential literary couples in a contemporary Hindi literature. Legacy and influence. Mamta Kalia's writings have had a profound impact on modern Hindi fiction, particularly in shaping women's writing in a post-independence India. She represents the voice of the ordinary, educated Indian woman facing the paradoxes of modernity with humor, defiance, and grace. Her works continue to be studied for the psychological depth, social critique, and feminist undertones, bridging the gap between literature and lived experience. In the contemporary context, Mamta Kalia's voice remains relevant and resonant. Her stories still mirror the ongoing struggle for female autonomy, identity, and dignity in a patriarchal society. Her realism continues to inspire new generations of women writers who blend courage, humor, and truth in their art.